As we are talking about gender equality today, it is high time that we have some men's voices heard as well. On a serious note, it is of utmost importance that men engage in gender equality, not only by understanding women and lobbying for them, but also by walking the talk. My guests today are two exceptional men who really do walk the talk. Rastko Petaković, Senior Partner at Karanovic and Partners, and Stefan Salom, Co-founder and Director of Development at Infostud. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Stefan is coming from the IT sector, as you may know, which cannot praise itself as a gender-balanced sector. Although Serbian IT sector is one of the best in Europe when it comes to gender balance and the fastest one in closing the gender gap, along with Cyprus and Greece, it is still a male-dominant sector with 75% of men and 25% of women. On the other hand, legal sector, where Rastko is coming from, is much better balanced with more than 40% of women in the total workforce. So Rastko, I would like to ask you, as somebody who is coming from such sector, what can you tell us, what are we missing when we don't have gender balanced teams, sectors, or economy as a whole?
Well, thank you, and first of all, thank you for inviting us. I think it's a great honor for us to be the first male speakers here. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for this. I think we would be missing out on good ideas. I think we would be missing out on good mentors. I think we would be missing out on good business execution. I think we would be missing out on so many things that women can do just as good as men can. So I think it's very important for at least two reasons to do this. Once, because it's the right thing to do, and secondly, because I think the companies that solve this puzzle and engage more women in their company, and especially in their top management, I think they will outperform their competitors. So I think the bottom line is this is good for you. Even if you are thinking selfishly, I think involving more women and engaging them is actually very helpful for a company. So we're missing out on many things.
Yeah, thank you. I agree totally. And Stefan, in your opinion, what can we do to make?
Yeah, first, I have to make a small correction. We are not an IT company. We're a much more digital company. That means we have much more sectors than just IT, and that's how we got to be the complete opposite of the disbalance. What is interesting that we do still have disbalance in our IT department, and there is a large majority of men there. But in all other sectors, we are more or less everywhere 50-50. For example, already in product management, which is quite close to IT, but in layman, in short term, the product managers are those people who tell ITs what to do. So their connection between the real world and the needs of a business and the IT personnel. And even there, we are 50-50. And I think one of the areas where there is a strong dominance of one gender is top management, but unlike most companies, I think we are in the other scale. I think out of our 6 top managers members, 4 are women, so directors. So, or I think now it's even 7, so it's 5-2. So here we have complete opposite picture, and for me, it would be unthinkable to lose all that talent we have. We would lose more than half of our top management without using our female co-workers. And the good thing from there, what I feel that we never planned, we never done anything on purpose. What we wanted to do on purpose is first, we didn't even verbalize it, but we knew it. We didn't want to make our female colleagues choose between motherhood and career. So we were always trying to make it as easier for them to have both. But apart from that, we've done nothing. We just let the time go on its own way, and that's how we get this distribution of top management within the Infostud company. So I think that when you just do the things the most natural, the most economical way, I would also say, most profitable way, you will most often, like Rastko said, if you don't want to miss out all the chances, it will in the end turn out to be good equalizer in this field.
Yeah, exactly. And Stefan, you are somebody who I know that took a parental leave when your child was born. And can you tell us maybe a bit more about that? Do you think that shared parental leave is maybe a way to go for better gender equality at workplace?
I think for start, the best thing, the shared parental leave is the great thing for men, to be honest. And I will start from there. I took 2 months, the last 2 months of the 1 year period, more or less, which we have in Serbia. And it was an amazing experience for me. A lot of bonding. I missed out on the first child. I couldn't do it out of various reasons, but with my second child, I was able to do that. And it was amazing. And yes, I didn't take that, of course, more than 2 months. That's the amount of time I took. It did almost no consequence on the job. Even the most important meetings, I was able, because it was a few hours a week, I was able to juggle it, to have them, so not to be even the most. I felt really in touch with what's happening, but on the other hand, I had much more time with my son, and also I got to be a bit better in cooking and other areas, and it was wow experience for me. And from my perspective, yes, it's nice to show gender equality, and I really wanted to be an example within my company. But the first reason was selfish. I don't want to be to talk too positively about me with no merit, because I wanted to see that, to feel that, and it was a great experience. And then there was, I recommend to everybody, if for somebody 2 months might sound too much, I don't think so personally, but 1 month is something I would absolutely recommend to absolutely everybody. And I think 2 months at least is also a very, very good thing. So what made me very happy is after I done it, I think there are now 2 or 3 fathers more in Infostud who done more or less the same. Somebody for 1 month, somebody for 2 months. And I think it's a great practice.
That's great that you were a good role model. And Rastko, what do you think about shared parental leave? Do you have some examples in your company?
Lawyers are not under the same employment law rules as other people. So, on the one hand, there is no support that law firms give, in this. And I think for this reason, it is very important for us to set the example. So we kind of have replicated the model, and whatever exists in the labor law, we tend to replicate it in our firm. But in addition to that, we don't ask mothers to go back to work, for example, if in case of a shared leave, but we allow the father to take, as much time as they need to during this 1 year. And I personally took 2 months, so same as Stefan here. I have colleagues who have taken more. I have colleagues who have taken less, and I think it's exceptionally important to underline the point that Stefan has made, and that is, unless the top leadership in the company does that, it is very difficult for others to follow. It is very difficult for others to kind of replicate that. So, I think if there are kind of lessons to be learned here. One is, please allow as much flexibility as possible for this, because that will lead to more gender equality and then better chances for the company. But also try to give an example. So be an example to others so that they can follow and they can do this. So yeah, we have that. The short answer is we have that. Yeah.
I would just add a small thing on top. What I noticed, many people in my company don't know they have that right until I send the mail to tell it to those. So there is also, except from the top management, I think there is quite a bit of room for some sort of promotional campaign, PR campaign, and for men to get to know, I would say, their rights. It's not only obligation, and I don't think we should look at it that way. I think it's much nicer to look at it as their right. And I think you can also help there to make this voice much more this option much more known within the country.
Yeah. So it's not enough to just lead by example, because there are no many examples, but we need a good promotional campaign.
Yeah. I think people don't know. They were really surprised. Oh, you can do that. Wow.
Yes.
I wish I knew that when I had a child and things like that.
Yes, that is something that we also did promote during our Play with Ed project last year, where both of you took part. But yes, there is still a lot of space to promote it even more. Now I would also like to ask you about the gender balance on top positions in the whole economy, because that is like an issue spreading, like a horizontal issue, and both of the sectors where you work face the same issue. So gender imbalance becomes greater as you move to up the ladder in top positions. Like, are there maybe? Do you think there are some low-hanging fruits that can be picked, and that we are maybe failing to see? Something like this promotional campaign, which is really, it seems like a low-hanging fruit, because we do already have a law, so we just have to inform the public.
Well, if I can start here, I think this is a big problem. I don't think there are low-hanging fruits with it, and you know, I think it's fair to say that you know, I'm speaking for myself, that you know, we are failing. So I'm failing to do what it takes so that this gender balance shifts or becomes balanced, because right now it is not. And you know, some of the things that we can do is appreciate diversity, but this is not the low-hanging fruit. This is a very high-hanging fruit, and it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of things that you at AFA are doing. It takes, for example, for companies in male-dominated sectors to be a part of AFA and part of your campaigns, but not only because it sounds right, because it's good for kind of a PR, but also because it really makes a difference. And I think, you know, for myself, again, thank you for the invitation, because, you know, the last time I spoke at one of your events, I said, yes, we are failing at this, and since, I think we've also made some progress, and the fact that we are able to go out there and say, you know, we can do better. We have not been doing well, but we can do better. I think it makes a difference. You know, every time a small incremental change can lead to great changes over the time. And I can proudly say now that, you know, since that event, our you know, 10 new out of 10 new partners, 9 were women, and all deservedly so. So, you know, there is still a lot of progress to be made, and this is not a major breakthrough, I would say, but this is something that, you know, kind of points out that it is possible to have this balance in some near future.
Yeah, thank you for being honest, and yeah, as you say, accepting the problem and recognizing it is, as they say, half of the solution, and thank you for sharing it with us. And Stefan, what's your thought?
I don't think I can be of much help here, honestly, because as I told you, we haven't done anything deliberately, and we came out. I was doing the recalculation. I forgot one company which is majorly owned by Infostud. So in total, it's 5 female directors and 3 male. Out of founders, there are my colleague and I and his sister, so it's 2-1 in male, more male, but in all other echelons, except the founder, which is so in top management, it's the other way around. And we honestly didn't want to do it deliberately. That's what I tried to emphasize. And I hope if it's similar like this in other companies, it just means that companies to be open for those things to happen. And by my opinion, the women's career is most vulnerable at at the motherhood part. That's what I see as the biggest problem, where we had biggest problem. For example, at some point, when our director of jobs, Infostud.com, had to go on parental leave first time, we weren't as mature. That business wasn't mature enough, and I had to step in and lead that business for a few months before she returned. So these are the moments where it's hard, honestly. In other areas, I think just by letting and trying to be open-minded, I think most of the things will solve, because it is best for the company to have to be as diverse in this sense as possible. Decisions they make are the best when there's also different people participating in making that decision, and of course different genders. One of the things that definitely can help is, of course, this trying to make it more natural, and for all the men to take 2 months parental leave would be great things, and something really good to start with. Other thing is, out of the best intention, for example, our law for family law says that if a woman has a third child, she has 2 years off. And I think that's a big problem. Even though it's a nice intention, a woman who has 3 children, her career is more or less, for most of the cases, almost dead, because she was until then 4 years out of job. So, and it's very hard, honestly. It's very hard to make up for such a big delays. I mean, somebody can do it, and all the best for it, for her. But in general, a woman really have a very ugly choice not to make a third child, or to give up on their career, because that 2 years that they get from the government, or for our society, are very bad gift. Of course, not for everybody. And I think one of the things that can help this issue is, for example, to let women in the second year of that leave for a third child to go back to work. And they can do it, of course, now, but when they go back to work, they have the same amount of money if they stayed home. And they have a terrible personal choice. Should I stay home and earn as much money as if I'm going to work? And I think we need to give some incentive to those women who decide to go, for example, to work in third child in the second year, like 30% of salary or something like that. That would be a win for all. Government would save some money, women would have incentive and wouldn't feel as bad, you know. At least they could tell themselves, okay, yes, I'm going back to work. I'm not leaving my child, but I'll earn some extra money, so I'll be able to pay some better services, some sort of child care or whatever is needed. So I think these systematic things, those two can be of some help. For the other, and I think both things, making normal for men to go on leave, parental leave, and giving women right for the third child to go back earlier and not give away everything when they do so. They get 100% from the government when they sit at home, and if they go back to work, they get 0%. Those things I think can be a good thing ahead. As for the company, I don't think I'm good to give any advice, because we were lucky, I would say, just happened with us.
That's an interesting idea for the third child. But I would, maybe it can be controversial, so maybe I would just like to hear a short thought of Rastko on this, and then we will have to finish because 20 minutes is already...
Yeah, well, I think it sounds great as an idea, because you know, like Stefan said, the choice between career and family is a very difficult and a very ugly choice to make, and that's also true for the first child, for the second child, but then particularly for the third child, because especially in the private sector, then that becomes you know, not a dead end to the career, but then the level of catching up that needs to be done becomes you know, difficult to manage, and both professionally, both for the company and for the person. So I think it sounds interesting as an idea, because ultimately, you know, the state wishes to incentivize the birth of a third child, and it is the amount of money that gets sent, you know, checks sent the way to the person. So I don't see you know, a major problem. You know, if that person is able to juggle all things, and especially with the father, because I think that's also very, very important, and with all other support that they can get, I think it can work. But it is also a part of the wider scheme. You know, there needs to be a lot of support from the society for all of this to happen. Childcare, school, daycare, after school, and there are so many things that would fall into this category. But I think it sounds like an idea worth exploring at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's definitely a systematic problem, but yeah, as you said, maybe the combination of the two measures, the campaign for fatherhood leave and this idea for the third child, maybe that would be a good package.
And
thank you very much.
What Rastko said, each company has to try to do its best when they feel that they're failing something. I think the example he gave is also a very, very nice one. 9 out of 10 sounds amazing, honestly.
Yes. Keep on doing the good work. Thank you very much, Rastko and Stefan.